Hello everyone, welcome back to the LCS Challengers League presented by Subway. Tonight, we are currently 1-1 in our series between Flyquest Challengers and Cincinnati Fear on the upper half of the bracket. But before we move into Game 3, we've got a little bit of a Subway Best of 3 sidekick coming at you. Cubby, what is our Subway Best of 3 sidekick?
Yeah, so for this, Fearless Draft, we have quite a few unique picks that we see, especially reaching to Game 3s. We're doing something a little interesting with this, where we're actually going to try and draw. And fortunately for me, Basil had a lot of time to draw the last one, as I still kind of need time to finish mine. Basil, what do you at least have from last game, but before we jump into this one?
Yeah, so I think it was very, very clear what happened
Can we guess what it is? Don't tell us.
I mean, I was a little rushed, because I was like, oh, maybe, like Copium, maybe we can still win. No. Zeri was so online. I don't think we can talk about that game without mentioning Lens on Zeri. Very oppressive within the early, mid to late game. I don't think maybe there was one or two bad deaths, so like genuinely very good display of, this gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
The pew pew one. That's yeah, it's a lot of extra electricity. Honestly, I will say that who is the operator from Valorant that kind of looks like Zeri? Are you familiar, Basil?
Neon?
Okay, I thought this was Neon for a sec. I will say.
That sounds right.
I
Same difference,
Valorant,
basically.
So. Yeah, I mean, the cat with gun was pretty scary. Lens also very scary. That last game is.
It's true.
I don't know. I at least appreciated like all the shields for the cat. That must have been nice.
For sure.
Okay, now we have to draw something, Cubby. Cubby, we have to draw our sidekicks. Yes?
Yeah, so
okay.
it is the Subway Best of 3 sidekick. We like to, take picks that we feel like are going to be really big in Game 3. As, of course, we did have Fear push us to a Game 3, taking Game 2 against Flyquest Challengers, in case you are just joining this. I have no drawing skills, so I kept mine short and simple. But here we go. Oh, it's a little bit off. Reset City, baby. I want to see Viego. That's supposed to be a Blade of the Ruined King.
Wow.
Basil, I just out of curiosity, would you consider taking me on as a student? I will pay for lessons. I very much need them.
You might really need to pay, I would take you on. Just would need a little bit of money, but I can see the potential.
Wow, well, that's very kind of you to still give me hope, even though there has never been any hope for myself. Diego, unironically, is a really big pick for Chad Shaden, who, of course, going way back, they lived in a house together with Kenvi and Poom, who are also still in this league. We'll see Poom playing tomorrow. I'm really excited to see that, as Chad trying to take down all of his roommates. He would be able to achieve that if he finds a win today. But I think Viego actually might be a big pick. We have seen a lot of teams, just like Game 3, a lot of pieces are removed, so there's like, we're just going to play a Viego reset comp and hope that you guys don't have enough answers for it. And that has actually been a winning strategy here in Challengers. So it could be a big pick for the next game. We'll see if that ends up holding true. But Cam, what do you have for your Subway Best of 3 sidekick?
Oh, yeah. This I'm working on it right now. You see this right here? Tell me what you think. Oh, my God, you got it. Let's go.
Wait, what was it?
It's Bard.
Come on, Cubby. What do you think it is?
I mean, I couldn't tell if those were mushrooms or not. I thought it was like a demon
No, these
Teemo.
are chimes. Come on.
Okay. We were specifically told by production to not pick Teemo because they hate the champion and no other reason. But I thought you were breaking the rules, Cam, and I was about to be like, wow, that's bold. And I would have had a lot of respect for you for it. But instead, we're just going Bard chimes, which I still respect, but not as much,
I'm adding teacups. We need more W's here.
Wow, Cam even has a specific skin that they want to see Chime play. Wow.
It is the winter skin. Yeah, the winter skin with the yellow combo.
Hot cocoa.
It's the best one. Yeah.
Are you a fan of hot cocoa? I know you grew up in a warm weather climate, but yeah.
I mean, hot cocoa is still good hot cocoa.
Can't go wrong with that. Well, all right, Cam. I did appreciate that. That is our Subway.
Those are our sidekicks. Yes.
Sidekick. And while we hop into Game 3, I know draft is coming up shortly, but Basil, you had the chance to backseat the last game. You got, the full, you got to watch. You had Zeri. Oh, we have a Basil sidekick as well. Basil had to draw 2
I didn't know you had a sidekick. I'm so sorry.
I did. No, you're good. So I'm very,
oh my gosh,
I'm very biased. I love watching Kaisa and knowing to Jed. I know he used to play Kai'Sa back in the olden days. So if we could see a Kai'Sa pick as a Kai'Sa enthusiast, that'd be really fun. You know, hasn't been picked yet. Think it could be a good time. Love seeing that champion build whatever it wants and dash around the screen, and suddenly a pentakill has been formed on my screen, so would love to see that.
Absolutely, 100%. We'll see a Kai'Sa probably. I think
Probably.
Still unbanned for both of these teams, but due to the fact that Lens super hard popped off on it like 48 hours ago, I would more expect this to see this picked by Fear, as once again, loser from the previous game, it does get side select in the next game. So Flyquest once again had side select for this last game, and they have once again chosen red. So we are staying on the same sides all three of these games. And
as you can see below, the champs in gray are banned for those two teams respectively. So Varus can be picked up by Fear, cannot be picked up by FLYC. What we usually see with Fearless Drafts is that the bans stay rather similar, but sometimes if there's a champion that you took you really don't want the other team to have, like a Nautilus, you ban it away. So we saw Fear do that in Game 2. I would not be surprised to see Nautilus ban again here in Game 3.
I'm very curious because Flyquest has chose red side again to see what their R5 is this time. Just because I feel like R5s are set to be more impactful. It was pretty impactful during that first game with the Alistar. Not so much this last game, but I also thought that the first pick on the side of Fear with the Karma was like, oh, okay, this isn't the most OP thing ever. But I also saw the Karma basically do so much damage with Mantra Q, which honestly surprised me. So I am wondering to see why Flyquest keeps choosing red side.
I will say that the Udyr ban specifically, that to me opens up Philip for a potential Cassante, as that's a very common answer to Cassante, and definitely something that Philip is comfortable on. So wondering if that's the case, or potentially Renekton, also an option for Philip. Oh, Rumble as well. Rumble actually is a legit first pick, but this leaves up the Orianna, which Fear has shown that they will snap. This is going to be first pick Orianna for Fear. I'm very confident like they'll grab this and this goes over to Toasty.
Orianna Nocturne, question mark? Again, still haven't seen Orianna, still haven't seen Nocturne, and the Lovers duo as well. I've also been keeping a close eye out for Xayah and Rakan. Have totally been left up. If I wasn't memeing a little bit about the Bard, I might have drawn probably Xayah, I think, but there you go. Xayah, here comes the Rakan as well. Gonna be a Nocturne for Chad here on B2. I've got this. Cubby, I've got this.
Wow. All right, Cam. I will say, I think Chad has a couple other options, as I don't love playing Nocturne into Rakan specifically, because Rakan just has a lot of ways to interact with your spell shield. So wondering if Chad goes for something else, but opportunity for Fear. They see the bot lane. They could match it here, Basil. I don't know if you have anything in mind. I mean, Xayah Kai'Sa is a pretty common matchup.
It is a pretty common matchup. It's very much season, especially if the Rel is locked in here, assuming it could go jungle or support. Kai'Sa is pretty good into those champions as well. It's very much season 9-ish. Yeah, this is a very old season bot lane, which is very exciting. I used to love this meta. This is exciting. So I'm very excited to see this. But it still leaves up the flex pick if they do want to put Rel jungle, because Kai'Sa does work very well with other champions as well.
I mean, at the moment, Basil's winning in terms of the champs we have from the drawing. So you might have to flash the cat again. Is that Kai'Sa's locked in for Lens. Keep in mind, this is the Kai'Sa that got Fear here. This is how they won their series against Wildcard. The Kai'Sa overcame the Smolder that was cooking for Wildcard late game. Lens was like, I think he had 12 kills in that game. He had a Zanya's that ended up being... Like, he survived through a winner's bite, like, from Braum, like, would have stunned him. He could have gotten chain locked and died. He popped the Zanya's in time after executed the Smolder. It's a crazy fight. His POV's on it, on his Twitter if you want to go check it out. But Lens was a big part of that Game 2 win, and now on the champ that is the reason that Fear stayed in the upper bracket for Game 3. That's pretty exciting.
We're on the same wavelength, me and FlyQuest. They banned the Nocturne. I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of thinking Rel is most likely actually going to go to Daption here. I think Kai'Sa Rel is super strong bot lane, especially into the Xayah Rakan, because Rel does kind of slightly counter Rakan through the laning phase, and they could both roam against each other super well. So I'm interested to see, again, because Flyquest is banning junglers, they probably do expect this Rel to go into the support position. So I don't... Xin Zhao's banned. So what jungler is it going to be?
I don't know. It's something where like Vi is a good pairing, and that's already off the table, taken away by Fear. You could just Lee Sin was already picked by Chad, so they actually take away the Wukong. So quite a few of the combos gone now from Chad. And I curiously, Basil, I mean, I do want to ask you on the Flyquest side. I know you know Surdy well. This Gragas being blinded, no bans to protect the Gragas, as Surdy's saying, throw whatever you got at me.
I mean, he's a weak side warrior, I guess. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Gragas pick, I think it is still a very good pick because your ult does displace a lot of people. You can honestly and literally throw your body into them if, you know, needed, and it'll be less of a loss than it was for the earlier Cassante game, because once you get behind on that Cassante pick, it's not very pretty. Whereas I believe on Gragas, you can lose more gracefully, or at least, you know, weak side a little more gracefully.
Yeah. The Syndra locked in. This is a matchup I've seen Quad play into Syndra specifically. I think Quad won this in the series against Maryville, against Spyrax's Ori, which is Spyrax, very good mid there that we have in the league. Toasty, of course, Ori, comfort for him, but Quad with the choice of matchup does pick the Syndra. So it tells me FLYC very much looking to trade off of the scatters, as we do have actually Viego taken by Chad. That's definitely comfort.
All right, Bard
on his side.
Bard R5. Let's see it.
That'd be a crazy draft. Where's that Viego going then? Top? Is that what you're
Bard
looking for, Cam?
R5. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we're gonna get your wish this time around, Cam. Instead,
I'm so sad.
Honestly, I would kind of like Viego here, Basil. I think it would help prevent some of the resets or wombo coming in from Fear, and it's going to be locked in.
Yeah, the Kindred is a very good pick here. Also, just with how you know, the rest of the team can play, a lot of displacements, which will help the Kindred, you know, put an ult down and not maybe like lose a fight over it. So I think both sides are it's going to be very fun, especially looking bot lane. Obviously, I'm very, very biased because I do think this is a very fun lane to watch, but very excited as well.
I'm excited for mid lane here. I think Orianna Syndra is like a super I was talking a little bit about Lulu Nami being super micro-intensive enchanter matchup. I think Orianna Syndra is kind of that equivalent for control mages in the mid lane. So Quad, being the lane dominant mid laner that he has been, is he able to continue that into the super aggressive micro mechanic matchup? You said he was trying to throw it all in with the level 6 ults. I'm interested to see if Toasty can actually end up matching him in those early game trades, as well as the level 6 that will end up coming out, as we do say once again bye to Basil. We will see you once again after this final game
Basil.
between Flyquest Challengers and Fear, as we do move right on to Summoner's Rift. Game 3 of the best of 3. Who's going to take us to the oh my gosh, lower bracket. I was looking for the word lower bracket.
Yeah.
And who is going to buy their ticket to the winners finals?
A loss here does mean that one of those 2 lives that you have left in the tournament will be spent. Of course, each team can either go lower bracket or be a best of 5 away from potentially competing in the Riot Games arena if you are able to take that. So really important match here in terms of our standings, as I know for all the players that we have left in playoffs, playing at the Riot Games arena on that LCS stage is a really big deal for these guys.
Once again, that's exclamation point tickets if you would like to purchase any of your tickets. $5 only each. $5 each only, however English works today. To purchase your way yourself to watch the NACL finals in the Riot Games arena. But first, one of these teams has to win it today, and then hopefully win it all the way to the finals, right?
Well, that's the goal. So at least looking at this draft, Cam, as we dive into this game, this is a big game. We see the Gragas-Cassante matchup yet again. We kind of saw that Gragas really scales into this matchup. It's about losing gracefully and then getting those 2 stacking items going. But I think the real big change for me is that Chad needs to find a way to delay Shaden early on. If not, the Kindred can kind of take over this matchup. And I also think that FLYC has a very simple answer of how to play out this game, which is affect mid a little bit, but mostly play towards bot. Because if Xayah gets ahead, Xayah can pump out a lot of DPS early on against the Kai'Sa. Like, the early crack in the Vori spike's really big, whereas Kai'Sa scales harder as the game goes on. So I think FLYC hitting that spike will be really important for them in this game.
Looking at the mid lane here again, super micro-intensive matchup. You saw Quad with a little bit of a HP lead right now over Toasty. I think Quad also hit level 2 slightly earlier than Toasty, which does help significantly. Any micro mistake that you make in this mid lane is so hard punished by the opponent just because of how equal both of these champions are in terms of their abilities and their damage, and generally how the Orianna versus Syndra matchup works. You saw in the top lane there as well, Sturdy with the level 2 advantage does get a nice HP for himself once again over Philip. Sturdy has been a pretty solid rock for Flyquest Challengers throughout the series and throughout most of the season, as he just simply can't lose lane very easily, if at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sturdy's been fantastic at landing, and I will say Toasty. So this is a matchup that historically Syndra used to win, but then after some of the changes that Syndra had to her kit, her Q cooldown is now longer than Orianna's, so Ori, I think, should win this matchup early on. Toasty doing a much better job at trying to fight quad a little bit early in this one. It is still, of course, a bit of a skill matchup, but Toasty kind of got blown out of the water in that game 1, and now quad, he's in trouble.
Quad, really good flash for flash traded. Pixel perfect there from Quad. One more HP left. It's going to be first blood picked up by Toasty. He also committed his flash for that one on the Orianna, but really nice gank timing there by Chad.
This is part of why I love Chad as a player, because he went for the craziest play here. Flashing over the scatter, then trying to guess the counter flash from Quad, but Shaden, he's going to go top, get Philip to pop the Nas button. That's going to be enough space for Philip to get out of there. As Shaden will not find the first mark on this top side, but will have access to this grab.
Shane not able to do any true counter jungling, but any sort of extra intel, extra vision in the enemy jungle is very beneficial for the counter jungling champion like Kindred. I thought nothing was going to happen up here. No, everything is happening up here in the top lane. Shane once again pathing his way back up here. Once again, Philip does not have that ghost to pop again, and of course also means he has no flash even available for this game. Flash forward from Shaden underneath the turret. One more tower shot. No!
Red buff.
Philip lives! And Shaden just barely lives as well.
Oh my goodness, how low did Philip get there on that gank? That was so close between the two of them. As shout out to our observer. Yeah, 9 HP coming through to both of our ears here. Philip able to sneak out of that. That will be nice for Chad, as he's a little bit ahead in the jungle clear now at the moment. And that top crab actually wasn't secured by Shaden going for that play, and that is where the mark did spawn again. So Shaden missing out on yet another mark. And given the timers being delayed, Chad might actually be able to sneak in here and deny the Raptors away from Shaden. So Philip living out of that play, big for quite a few reasons.
Tasty, tasty chickens here for Chad. Shaden would have to counter jungle the enemy chickens, but that is much harder to do for the Kindred as than compared it would be for a Diego, just because of how the early game champions work here. Toasty with actually, I think, about even HP here, but slightly down on the mana in this very intensive mid lane micro matchup, but he does have the lane prowl thanks to Chad's early game gank.
And this is so big for Chad. Honestly, this would be a really cool win, I think meaningful win for Chad, because I've talked a little bit about the jungle house they lived in between Chad, Kenby, and Shaden. And for me, Chad's actually kind of always been the prospect that out of all three of those, he's been discounted a little bit. And I think taking down all of them this split would really mean a lot for Chad. Because at the moment, Toasty,
oh
he's
no,
be
exhaust is dropped onto Toasty. He has no flash, he has no way to escape. Shane picking up the first kill here for Flyquest Challengers. Staption is able to get away for now. Everybody holding on to as many summoner spells as you can. I don't think anything was actually burned there except for the exhaust onto Toasty, as we get a replay of that.
They were looking for the dive on the quad. Again, both mids are flashless, but Chime just took a more direct path, got there first, because Chad was spotted on the grubs. He did get one down. The picture-in-picture actually just took the second, as we have a bit of a smite war going on between these two. Chad will force out Shaden. Really nice play from FLYC and Chime, especially on this lane, setting Toasty behind. I think Chime, I've talked a bit about how big Venz was on this Kaisa to make sure that they got here. Chime on the Rakan, the one Rakan game that he got against AoE, he ended the game with a team fight. His Rakan, very good from his time in LCS with TSM. Still very good here in NACL with FLYC.
Maybe a gank up here on the top side. Shaden is only level 5, though. That does make it much harder. Sturdy dropping the cask a little bit early. I think he might have missed trying to pull Philip back towards him. Sturdy real low right now, playing with some vision, trying to get Philip towards the bush that he warded, but not going to be quite in time. Sturdy forced the flash away, but Philip turns it right back around. Will end up trading out his life 1-for-1. Shane is super happy to pick up that kill for himself and is able to push the wave in to be back into the favor of Sturdy.
I will say that Philip is down a lot of CS, but Philip is doing his damnness to make sure that all the pressure that he's absorbing really comes out as even. The CS is the only place it's showing, and to be fair, if Philip got a kill, and those Merc Treads will go a long way in making sure that he's able to try and survive this lane against the Gragas, but the Gragas does outscale. So I think the pressure, I'm a bit surprised at this approach from FLYC, because I thought that going bot would be a little bit more important to make sure that Xayah gets ahead in the item curve, but it's actually been the story of top lane, and Philip has been doing a really nice job at stabilizing things.
Yeah, Philip versus Surdy has been pretty much an island matchup for this entire series so far. And this game, Chad's been up here, Shaden's been up here, Shane's picked up a kill up here even. All before they both even hit level 6 for themselves. Shane, you see, also is picking up his first mark down here in the bot lane, assuming that he is actually able to finish off this scuttle. 8 minutes into this game, Cubby, we are still sitting on the first dragon. And as I said that, I still don't actually think either of these teams can really take it right now, so I might have a 10-minute first dragon.
I think that, so FlyC, they just had their bot lane base, they're redeploying. I think that the next wave, there is an angle where they could secure this one. I'm just wondering if they use the timer to go to a lane or try and fight. Toasty and Quad both have their flash back up, as those were on matched timers, but I want to see FlyC try and get the Drake stack going again. Each comp has scaling elements. In the bot side, Fear, I favor them as this game goes on. The rest of the map, I think that the Gragas and the Syndra scale really nicely throughout this game. And I'm kind of interested to see how this, goes back and forth. Because I feel like each team has a chance to win at a lot of different points of this game, given the strength of the champions that they've had. But I do think that it's important that FlyC pick up some early Drakes and take advantage of some of the early power that Xayah brings you.
I do appreciate that so far we've had a very dominant win for both of these teams so far in this best of 3, and then game 3 by far has been our most even game.
I mean, Cam, this is the Challengers League Classic. Welcome to the league.
Yeah, this is my favorite type of best of 3, is where both teams get their full game to shine, and then we actually get like a real back and forth game 3. Now, is this going to be the same game 3 of Flyquest C versus AoE? I don't know if I want that or not. 45-minute backdoor, and then we have another best of 3 after that is a little bit much for my energy, but we will have to wait and see. Philip will not have to wait and see, though. He dashed right into the 1v2 in the waiting arms of Shaden. Now 3 for 3 on the kills for Flyquest Challengers on him. Down there in the bot lane might have a 2v2. Chad hovering the top side as well to deny any sort of full crash that the top side for Flyquest Challengers might have gotten. But, I mean, Shane is super happy to be 3-0 right now.
Yeah, and I think that kill hurts a bit, because Shaden is the benefactor of all these, first off. Shaden as well. I'd say out of the 3 players, Kenvy's probably the one most known for Kindred, but Shaden's Kindred damn good as well, back when he was rank 1 and rank 2 on the ladder simultaneously before he ended up going pro. And kind of return to that point, I mean, I think it is kind of fun to jungle house. Again, I think Chad is the one who's probably the most discounted as a prospect out of the 3, just given the some of the achievements that we've had Kenvy and Shaden have. But, Chad came in as a rookie subbing in for Kenvy and was able to win his very first proving grounds, and Chad's been kind of searching for the same success ever since. This time around, I know that he is one of the more vocal members, making a lot of calls for Fear. And it would mean a lot for him to have a split where he's beating his roommates who play the same role and were a bit more hyped than him, quite frankly, coming out and, really prove that he can be a team leader, because Chad is someone that has always played with a lot of direction, and him kind of now being able to lead someone instead of being mentored by people like Ryoma or Pretty was something that Chad was excited about this split. It's been nice to see him stepping into it as the split's gone on, as I think that Chad's really kind of calmed down his play, and that's helped Fear be a lot more sound as a team.
And this is a really important game to talk about the jungle narrative here, because of how crucial both of these junglers are to the team's success in this game 3. Shane obviously being the 3-0, 3 for 3 on the Flyquest kills so far, but Chad has set up the kill so far for Toasty, as well as in the top lane was able to deny a lot of that Surdy and Shaden could have potentially pushed for themselves. So they both, Chad maybe a little bit more obvious than Shaden, have had very strong early game presences so far this game. Daption may be caught out in the bot side. River, he does have the W to get over the wall, but Chime has popped the quickness. Not quite in range to actually get the charm, though, so unfortunately, a little bit of a wasted cooldown for him, and Simple does engage. I mean, just pop the quickness, that's the only thing.
It is a mark for Shaden, which isn't all bad, as he has a second now on the board, and again, Shaden off to a great start. He's got the Kraken Slayer already. Expect Trinity Force to come in next for the Kindred, as that is the build that we're seeing standard. And that is a big thing for FLYC, is that I think one of the things I am scared of, and a part of why I almost feel like the scaling, I kind of like FLYC a bit better going on, is that if that Lamb's Respite is able to come down, the amount of control they have over it with the scatter, with the cast, to find the CC right when Lamb's Respite expires to make sure that they're able to get out all the damage, I think it's a little bit easier for FLYC to control that and execute it. So Shaden, as you highlighted, Cam, going to be a big part of this game, given how fed he is. See if he can step up. At the moment, looking top again.
Oh, man. We've got
he's been bullied hard enough.
Lane. Yeah, Shaden is just here to bully. This is some cyberbullying right now on my screen here, Kofi. What is happening in this top lane? Like, I kind of want to say, like, this is almost totally not even Philip's fault, right? Like, Shaden has just literally not allowed him to play League of Legends. He has been underneath his tower. He's not even, like, overextending that much. Meanwhile, down here on the bot lane, though, Fear will not let that go totally unpunished. TP coming in from Quad in the mid lane, though, totally dissuades that dive. Fear definitely does not want to re-engage after that. Just kind of baiting out the Summoner's Phone. Flash for Flash, traded Quad for Lens. 2.5 minutes left on the Dragon, so neither of those people having their Flash up for that Dragon will actually be quite important.
That's actually a really big Flash trade, because now, I mean, FLYC can look to punish that right now. Here we go.
Oh, no, underneath the turret. Fear, they thought they had the dive. In fact, they're the ones actually being dived. One kill picked up for Quad. The other kill, we'll see in a second. I think it was picked up by Shaden, or I don't know.
I mean, either way, it was a celebratory flash by Sajed. I don't know if he got something or not, but I don't think he needed to flash that. Either way, good dive by FLYC. That was started by Quad trading his flash. It's something that I want to see Fear punish in the upcoming Dragon setup, because Immobile Syndra is something that everyone should have their sights on for Fear. This game's starting to get hard for Fear, because with all the focus put into the top side, this is a matchup where we even saw in the last game, the Gragas outscales the Cassante. Surdy's way ahead. And now when you have a play like this come through on the bot side, where Quad traded his flash to ensure that Chime finds the insta-engage to delete Lens, Quad deletes Daption with his ult, all of a sudden FLYC have leads multiple places on the map, and it's getting harder and harder for Fear to get back into this one.
That was the bot lane dive that Flyquest tried to play for in Game 1, but they were actually successful in completing in Game 3 now. That was one kill picked up for Quad, one kill picked up for Sajed, by the way. Now we got the first Rift Herald started up by Flyquest. Daption caught out. Fear are trying to contest this Rift Herald, but they have no business at being at. Only can potentially look for a steal. Chad does not have vision over the wall, would have to blindly flash in. Does not want to full commit for it. Rift Herald picked up by Flyquest. No kills to be found. To full disengage. Flyquest is happy. We'll take the Rift Herald.
They got it in time to try and contest this next Dragon, too. As you can see, Fear, they can't really find any control on the Rifts. And, I mean, I'm so worried about this Gragas moving on. This Gragas is going to be so damn tanky, Cam. As it feels like the next base, I mean, Surdy will be close to finishing that Seraphs. And I say Seraphs because once he picks it up, it will be fully evolved. As he's like only 20 mana away on stacking the tier to have that big shield on top for the Gragas. The Roa is halfway to scaling and completion as well. Surdy's going to get this tower all to himself, and all the investment they put up in Surdy's Gragas, he is going to be throwing a lot of weight around in the next fight wherever he decides to go.
And I think it's really important that they put so much investment into Surdy, but it's the fact that Shaden was the one that actually walked away with the kills and the majority of the gold. So it's the fact that Surdy got the pressure, got the wave control, got the first turret even for himself, but Shaden actually is the one to deal the damage, right? So the fact that they got 2 members ahead for the price of just 1 lane is such a strong early game macro here from the Flyquest Challengers team. Chad, what's the steal? He got the steal. All right, Chad. You see him?
Oh, man. Shaden's just getting smite capped by his old roommates here. It was Envy and their loss to Supernova, and now Chad's taking a few. As that was big. I mean, the Mountain Dragon, that's going to help Fear, stay alive later on. Denying that, I think, from Gragas, who will naturally stack so much HP. Really nice. Just some bonus resistances to have moving forward. Nice steal by Chad. A little bit disrespectful from FLYC, not looking for the Viego beforehand. And Fear gets something where they should not have been allowed to even get close to that Dragon.
And there's not even a fight after by Flyquest, which is kind of funny to me. Like, they are ahead 3.5k gold. At this point, they can absolutely look for even slightly disadvantaged fights. And they just saw Chad walk up, steal it, walk away, and we're like, well, all right, I guess that just happened to us. I would like to see a Mark counter potentially for Shaden. How is he doing so far in 15 minutes? 3 marks. All right, he's got 1 more. It's on the enemy comp right now. I don't think he'll be able to reach that one quite in time, but definitely could be looking for another kill onto Viego, who, by the way, I think, yeah, the mark has been set on Viego. Oh, no. That should shake it. Yeah, anyway, Shaden has had that mark set on Chad this entire game so far. I think 100% of his kills are onto Philip and Toasty, so he hasn't actually gotten that mark onto Chad yet. It's only been off of camp so far.
Well, 4 will be a nice breakpoint for the Kindred. But speaking of breakpoints right now, I'd like to direct your attention to the top lane items. Because that is a full item completed. Well, Surdy has 1 more completed item than his lane opponent, Philip.
That's fun.
I think that's all we need to say, Cam. That's a big Gragas up there.
What's the gold looking like on the top lane matchup? I'm curious.
You know, I actually... We have a tool. I was trying to you know, make my way through the caster's cockpit. The power. Shout out to Observer Kai for helping us out as always.
Thank you so
much. A great job. 1,500 gold in favor of Surdy and a full item to boot in the inventory right now. Philip did just basically spent. But that is a massive lead for the Gragas, who, again, scales really nicely into this matchup. This Gragas will not be able to be moved on side lane. And honestly, if you get later on into the game, too, Orianna's going to be pretty much forced to build a Leandries to try and deal with this. If not, then Surdy can win that side lane matchup as well. So FLYC will always have a side lane that is ahead. It will make life a lot easier for Chime and Shaden to try and do what they're doing now, which is, you know, Goon Squad and take away some camps away from Fear.
I just need some sort of, like, you know, like, what is it called? Oh no, like battle music. That's what I'm looking for. We need battle music over Shaden and Chime just roaming around the enemy jungle right now. I think that would be very, very entertaining to watch. Shockwave connects onto Shaden. He's holding on to Lamb's Respite though, so it is quite hard to actually get him down into true lethal. Toasty just wants to keep his bot tower alive, man. It is so dangerous to be walking around here. Shaden and Chime are truly the Goon Squad duo, as you may have put it there very nicely. But they don't actually have any true lethal threat. They're just here to, I don't know, do some shenanigans.
Yeah, they were looking at control. I will give props to Toasty. I think that ult was really nice on the wave, as it chunked Shaden heavily, so he had to retreat and heal off his jungle camps. He couldn't keep up the siege himself in the bot side to make sure that tower falls. Meanwhile, Philip, this tells me TP is available for Toasty. He just based. There might be a look from Fear on the top side onto this Gragas.
Surdy might have walked a little bit too far forward, not knowing that Philip is waiting in the bush. Level 13 versus level 13. It is so hard to actually get a kill onto either one of these full tank top laners here. Meanwhile, down there in the bot lane, though, Quad left all on his own. Toasty not able to match Syndra in a split push anymore. Does end up getting that last outer turret secured for Flyquest. They are now 3-0 on these turrets.
1 minute before Dragon should be clinical from Flyquest Challengers, as they actually switched up their lane formation a bit. This will grant Philip the top outer turret before Dragon spawns, so he's going to be nice basing himself, whereas Quad gets to clean up this wave. They won't be here in time for Philip. I'm interested to see FLYC actually playing more towards the bot side. I know the 5v5 is good for Fear, like if you're able to hit the Rel plus Shockwave combo. That can be a really appealing fight for Fear to take, and there are a couple ways that FLYC can struggle to defend against that, but I look at the gold, and I feel like FLYC are ahead in this game, and so I kind of want to see them push the pace and continue to try and stack these dragons. It looked like looks like now they're just hovering Quad to make sure that he could get that one in safely. Now they're going to team walk down to the dragon, where Fear will be on the back foot. We'll see if they even decide to contest.
I think that almost the entirety of this gold lead for Flyquest, though, is sitting in Shaden's pockets. Like, take out Shaden.
Side, yeah,
take out Shaden from this equation, and I think this gold lead might actually be pretty close to dead even. So, again, if you take out Shaden, if you're Fear, you can absolutely do that. It is quite hard, but that would be a massive gold swing and a massive map threat swing back into Fear's favor. But it is just so hard to do that. You've got the time on the recon. You have Quad with so much utility as well. Surdy being super fed on the top side with his extra tanky and utility as well. And Shaden has help. He's got the Lamb's Respite, right? That can buy so much extra time. That is going to be the member to watch. Last game it was Lens. This game it is all on Shaden's shoulders here to take Flyquest on to the next round.
I love watching Chime on his baton. He's so good at finding vision pockets. And I know I was talking about how Chad, kind of the vocal leader for Fear. It's very much Chime for FLYC as we see the top laners going to war. Just a little bit of a tank off. Surdy does have sustained advantage.
This one would definitely be good with music over it.
Sarah's pops. There's a TP coming in.
Oh no, is this actually going to be a kill? I'm sorry, I really thought that this was not going to be a kill. Surdy, no!
Oh.
Surdy, don't do this to me! Okay, Philip. Philip with a solo kill, a little bit, onto the I would say, pretty fed Gragas, honestly.
I mean, that should not be happening at this point of the game. Like,
no.
Again, Surdy, it's a frozen heart on Cassante. That's not even built or equipped to deal with the Gragas. Surdy was sitting on quite a bit of gold based on what he just bought in his inventory, and he was just kind of throwing his weight around for fun. A little St. Patrick's Day oopsie there in the bot lane, and now at least Fear gets a little bit of gold back in Philip's pocket to try and contest a potential Baron look coming up. I think each team going to play this one out rather cautiously, given all the stakes that we have on the line cam, but unforced air there from Surdy and FLYC.
Tasty steaks. I'm hungry. Could definitely do with some steaks right now. I think Surdy
How did steaks come up from the Gragas?
I don't know. You said we were looking for steaks right now. We're also apparently looking to kill Chime right now. Ooh, that's a really clean shockwave, actually. Lens used the killer instinct as well to secure that kill for Caption. In fact, lands the kill onto Chime. Sajed underneath the tower uses the Feather Storm to make sure he is able to get away. But that is a really important kill. 23 minutes. You're killing the enemy support. That is a massive factor of the engage. And I thought Fear were going to pull the trigger and potentially look for a Baron off of that. Maybe they would have to actually land a true kill onto Shaden to secure the Baron. But, I mean, either way, it is very important to continue bringing the gold lead back towards Fear.
Yeah, and that's big too, because I mean, Philip was able to take the bot outer from that. Surdy kind of had to hover mid in case they were going to hit Baron. So a win in 2 places at once for Fear based on that engage. And the shot caller for FLYC Chime, he falls looking for more vision pockets. And Fear, and showing they aren't done yet in this game. Again, I think this game is going to be hard for Fear. I don't think that Chemtech matters a lot this game. I have seen some games, like especially with Aatrox, where Chemtech actually matters a lot. But I don't think that the champs really benefit off it unless there's a soul, which the soul is nice, but...
Oh no. That's rude. Oh, never mind. He missed it. Haha.
Yeah. Shaden got it. I actually think that I saw the mark animation go off too, so that might have been 4 for Shaden. Which again, 4 is a big break point for the Kindred.
Mark counter? Do we have a mark counter? We do have a fight in the bot lane, maybe. I will no longer ignore the fight between the top laners. Oh. Flash from Chad burned there. Yeah, I'm sorry. I genuinely thought that last 1v1 between the top laners was just going to be them throwing fists at each other. I think Surdy might have thrown the same, which is why he didn't actually end up backing off, and he was just like, oh, I guess I'm dead now.
That was the most honorable 1v1 we've seen in a long time in Challengers. I mean, that was a fight to death. Yeah, they signed up for the Gladiator match down there.
They're looking to hopefully get some control around the mid wave here. They have had the mid lane prior for so long, but not actually able to secure this last outer turret. Finally ends up going down to minion auto, and we do now have all outer turrets taken, but no inner turrets really have even been touched. I think they're all sitting at about 95% plus of their HP. So objectives, I would say, are pretty much dead even. Yes, there is a 3,000 gold lead right now for FLYC, but that's not really enough to just be like, all right, we're going to run at them and win a team fight. It's still going to be very much in the control of Fly, whether or not they're able to get the next dragon.
Yeah, kind of a deep breath at the moment once we see Surdy take the reset, see if he can wrap up, looks like it to be the Witchbane on the Gragas, so packing a little bit of a punch behind this Roa and Seraph stacking now. Shading going to take the global red buff, as that's Oprah to everyone on the team with the new season changes. And again, I think that FLYC, like, they have the advantage. You're looking at the scoreboard, the items, the levels, it's all in their favor. But Fear have shown a couple of nice plays that have kind of gotten them back in this. And now with TP coming down to the Chad, FLYC trying to make a play on the jungler Fear.
Chad has no TP. Shane has so much gold. He's only going to continue to grow the gold lead for himself. Man. It's a double kill for Shaden. What can you do against this Flyquest Challengers jungler, man? 2 more kills in the first Baron now for Flyquest.
Man, it's been a really close game 3, and I hate to see things go that way. Chad was trying to focus head around, maybe take the red buff, but FLYC, they deployed top and worked their way down to the dragon, but they found 2 kills, took the jungler off the map. Didn't even need to, as they took the Baron for themselves. They're fine giving away the second dragon to Fear. The soul doesn't really have a big impact on the game. They'd much rather take the buff of the big purple worm and just start pushing out those lanes.
The towers have actually been a pretty solid opponent for both of the teams this game. Flyquest Challengers did clear the outer lanes or outer turrets before Fear did, but again, all of these inner turrets are totally untouched. Baron is going to have a massive impact on truly breaking this game open in the favor of Flyquest, assuming that they're able to finally break open these inner turret lines. Watch Philip though, he's got a pretty deep flank right now onto Surdy. Fear trying to pick off someone, and it's gonna have to be Surdy if they want anyone. Do get the flash out from him. Cass landed as well, trying to turn it back now onto Chime as he gets so low. Lamb's Respite buys him an extra life. He's gonna try and run away, and it's traded over for support. Daption will be the member to fall. The turrets are still laid. Shaden is forced to flash away. He doesn't have Lamb's Respite, he doesn't have flash, and Flyquest no longer have a chance to win the team fight without their jungler. They will be happy to walk away from that one with 1 kill and 1 turret for Flyquest Challengers.
Yeah, I think Daption was going for the flip into the ult. He got killed before he could get the flip in, as Shaden was able to flash away, or Chime dashed away. I think Chime was the one who was low. That's where Lamb's Fight was used to save him. And then, I mean, honestly, that's an okay, like, it wasn't a good look for Fear at first. It could have been a decent opportunity for Fear, given how early the Lamb's Respite was burned, but the Shockwave didn't get anyone low enough. Lens didn't want to commit, and it's just FLYC getting a little bit more gold in their pockets and able to get off a clean reset. So the push continues. Baron's still on their shoulders, Cam. We'll see how much FLYC can get.
Baron does expire in, I think, about a minute, though. Minute and 10 seconds, if my math is correct. Hopefully. So they've been able to take that top inner turret, looking to take the mid inner turret here. You said that Shaden's ult was a little early. I think it was actually perfectly timed. I'm going to argue that because it kept Chime alive.
It was necessary, but it was a big cooldown burn that Fear could have punished. So I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you on
Mid lane
that
inner
one.
turret will be taken, though, by the Baron Canyon minion. And Flyquest, I mean, they are playing this macro game perfectly by the book. Take all the outer turrets, then take all the inner turrets with your Baron buff, and then with the next Baron buff, you can start looking to break this inhibitor turret line as well.
I mean, Shaden's just so damn big in this matchup, too. Had all the early kills, a Black Cleaver to boot now. That will help himself and Sajed melt through what Fear has to offer. And again, Fear, I thought their comp would kind of run out of gas if this one goes on. There's an AK gold lead. There's a death cap on a Syndra who has, I assume at this point, 120 stacks to get that bonus AP ratio on top of the death cap AP ratio. So I think it's really tough for Fear. They have to try and find picks before Lamb's Respite can come down. And that's no easy task this late in the game.
Especially not with Shane still being 7-0. Like, he's still completely unkilled. just so insane. Sajed as well being 1-0, totally deathless so far in this game 3. Both of them having very strong defensive ults, though. Does help quite a bit with that. We've got 2 minutes left on the soul point now for both of these teams, but I think honestly more importantly is going to be these Barons. You did mention earlier that the soul is not going to probably have a massive impact on who wins this game. I would definitely agree. I think the Baron in about 3 minutes, if Flyquest Challengers can take it, it could almost honestly end the game with it at this point.
And if you're a Fear fan, it's a tough game at this point. Your saving grace is Lens. Lens is the reason that you got here in the first place. And they overcame a similar scenario to actually make it into this upper bracket series. Hold on, Chime. That's a big pick.
Chime caught out. This is a really crucial pick for Fear. Assuming that they can actually connect it, but no, Chime is still alive. Fear is waiting in the Lamb's Respite to get some extra healing from it. Philip trying to dash back in. Chime totally out of this fight, but he is somehow still alive. Massive double stun coming out from Quad, though. There is no kill secured quite yet. Surdy goes golden
You're so
for
low.
an extra second. Toasty forced to flash over the dragon wall. We got 1 minute left on this dragon. Fear just burned every important summoner spell that they needed to fight this dragon.
Yeah, that damn new support item makes you pretty tanky. You do eat the initial engage. Chime somehow able to live through that. As the Lamb's Respite, that one was perfectly timed. Saved him. A lot of damage put back on the Fear. FLYC survived the scare, which is honestly a decent setup from Daption and Chad. Again, those are the angles I think that Fear have to be looking at in this instance, but it's just all on if Lens can go in. And it got even scarier for Lens to go in, as he did burn both summoner spells in that fight, and Fear didn't get anything. So for me, if I'm FLYC, all eyes on trying to get a pick on the Kai'Sa or the Orianna, whose sums are both missing. And with something like a Syndra to fish for scatters, that makes Claude very scary at this point of the game. All these summoner spells are down.
There's no Lamb's Respite or Featherstorm, but only for a few seconds. Toasty, that is not the push. Fly has just here. I mean, what can you possibly do when they just wipe your mid laner and your AD carry off of Summoner's Rift? They might not don't even need this last dragon. Yeah, they can look to push the game off of this last pick. Philip is going to fight for his life, fight for the life of Fear on the top side of the bracket. He has so much extra take stats. Shane is buying so much time, though. In fact, actually going to dash into the dragon pit to match down Philip. He goes legendary on the Kindred, and that just might be game here, Cubby.
Fear is a young team. FLYC game 3, they slowed things down. They take some solid scaling, and they get the best of them in this one. And Fear, I mean, again, they were able to challenge FLYC, continue the trend that this playoff for NACL, it's close. There isn't a lot of disparity between our 8 teams. There was enough disparity for FLYC to stay on top of that #1 seed.
Adaption goes in one more time. The Nexus turrets are under fire. FLYC will punch there, take it 2-1 against Cincinnati Fear into the winners finals.
Good match for FLYC, and you know, props to Shaden for donating at least a kill to the cause there to the fountain at the end. He would have finished 8-0-4 without that one. But man, that was such a slow, stable game from FLYC. They had scaling elements, especially on the top side. And I was kind of interested because I thought they would work towards the Xayah Rakan, because historically in that matchup, if you can get Xayah to that Kraken Slayer and Navori ahead of the item curve, ahead of the Kai'Sa, you can really use that to press your advantage. But no, instead, they actually focused Surdy and just said, hey, if you get a full item ahead of their tank, you can't die, and no one on our team can get reset on. So that was a different approach that I wasn't expecting to see, but I feel like went pretty well for FLYC and helped make sure that they kept that game 3 stable and found the win.
That's not all we've got for you tonight here from FLYC. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes after a break with an interview from one of the winning members on FLYC.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong Cookie, Footlong Pretzel, or Footlong Churro.
Well, I'm joined by a couple of Flyquest members here, as we have the victorious Surdy with us, Basil as well in the interview. Surdy, first off, congrats on the win. I know that, you know, you probably would have preferred this one to go to 2 games, but overall, even with 3 games, it was a little bit more controlled. And something that was interesting, I was talking with you before the match, you kind of highlighted how you don't feel like the meta is really in your wheelhouse and you've had to adapt. We've really seen Gragas emerge as a pick later on in this patch. You and Philip both won a game on it in this series. What's it been like for you kind of figuring out this new meta, and how is a matchup like K'Sante versus Gragas kind of warp things as we get deeper and deeper into this patch?
Yeah, so The top meta shifted a bit with item changes, map changes, and everything, specifically because things in other roles got stronger. And some of the more traditional carriers who are abusing Sundra, like Jax, Fiora, etc., can't use it anymore, right? So we're kind of in a situation now where with Sheen getting changed from 700 to 900 as well, they can't beat a lot of the counters that they were able to lane into with Grasp before. So I lost a few of my blind picks, including like Kennen, for example, who also was pushed out of the meta with the item changes. And I'm put in a weird situation where I'm playing some mashups that I'm not necessarily used to because I haven't had the luxury of playing characters of this type on teams I've been on in the past, if we wanted to win. So it's a bit of a unique experience. I think that this meta is better for some of my competition in an ACL, but they still have a lot of issues with their play. I mean, I do too, to an extent, and it's pretty easy to exploit if we are coordinated.
So my question to you, Serdi, is congrats, by the way, on the win. You know, I was hoping also for a 2-0, but it's okay, it happens. How does it feel now being the patented weak side warrior? I mean, you do stand your ground, but we are seeing you on Gragas and Similar Champions more often. How does it feel to go from one of those, like, people look at you as, like, the carry to being able to rely on your team's carry now?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, when I hear Jay, or Jay's shouldn't say that he wants Kindred, I'm like, just pick me whatever, man, we're gonna win. It's so free. I'm just happy to be there and do my part, and if he wants to come top and collect free kills in the Cassante, who is no mana, all lane phase, and down 30 CS, go for it. I'll feed you.
Speaking of weak side, I also drew you something to highlight this game, because I thought it would show, you know, how much of a weak side warrior you are. What do you think?
No, I like it. It really depicts, like, Jay was the big bad wolf on Kindred in this game, and I was kind of just sitting there, and I asked him in mid-game, I was like, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do for you? And he was like, just stand in front of me. That's all I need. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I shove sidewave, I move, I make you happy.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely seems like at this game too, you had a lot of very good plays, but it also very much helped your Kindred basically just 1v9 the game.
Yeah, I mean, their top was put in a weird situation where he lost a lot of the trades, but you can't really find lethal in this kind of a matchup unless he makes a really big mistake. So I said to Jay, if you have downtime and there's nothing to do bot side and you want to just come collect a kill, just lane gank him. I haven't seen him drop a wood in the bushes, so you can just come collect it. I'll bait his W. And he was like, sure.
Well, I mean, that was the most help I've ever seen a weak side warrior get, but at least you fed her. And made it happen in that last game. Serdi, I do actually want to ask you, as you used to be a part of TL. Them and Disguise both found upset wins in the first round, and that is our upcoming match. Do you have any thoughts about who you might be facing in the best of 5, potentially, between these two teams that are going right up after this?
I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell which one of them is better because they both have strong individual pieces, and the main issue is that they couldn't find cohesion, and they were putting themselves into situations which didn't complement their strengths. That's a big reason why our team operated so much better, because despite everyone being good, we were all willing to make sacrifices to set up everyone else for the best possible situation. And it felt like sometimes these teams weren't doing it for their teammates, basically. There was that lack of trust. I feel like they've kind of come together more as a unit, and that's where they're looking better. If I had to say which team I think will win, I'm probably going to give it to TL, just because I think that Roma and Jenkins are stronger than the counterparts that they're going to be versing.
All right, interesting. I mean, I'm excited for the next match. Serdi, congrats again on this match. Just want to give you the floor before we say goodbye. Any thank yous or shout outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to my teammates. I love them. They're amazing. Best team I've ever been on. No offense to my old teammates, you guys were great too. It's just like being in first kind of rocks, you know? But yeah, shout out to my teammates, shout out to my lovely girlfriend, and shout out to you guys. Thank you for the broadcast. Thank you for giving us a platform.
No, it's great to have you. Yeah, it's great to have you. Congrats on, the win again. Best of luck improving this upcoming week.
Thank you.
And don't go anywhere, because we're going to say goodbye to Serdi. We're going to welcome back Camcom. After break, we've got TLC versus Disguise coming right on up.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
Before this guy won this, he actually won this. And now these guys, they're trying to do the same.
He's looking for the killer instinct. He's going
Masu.
in. He finds 2. He finds 3.
Masu, you are utterly ridiculous. This guy is also trying to do what that guy did. And he didn't win one of those, but he did win this.
Welcome to the new era. A toast to our champions, disguised.
This guy played one split of LCS and then made semis at Worlds.
It's been a long journey, but I'm happy to be here now.
He's always been really good, but he finally made the comeback. Oh, and he did it with this guy. This guy won Academy, and he had some dreams.
I want to be like the best NA mid laner to go to Worlds, right?
Dokla, however, very, very low. Reinforced by the Senna ultimate. And the Pop Blossom is so awesome.
This kid? Yeah, this kid. He actually didn't win an Academy, but a lot of people thought he was good, and boy, were they right. This guy made Worlds his very first year as a player. It took him a while to get back. He even played with this kid. But then, they did all of this together.
Nobody thought they'd win LCS. Nobody thought they'd beat G2. It's time to change your minds.
You know all of these names, but do you know the names of who's next? The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers.